Well, hey there, how's it going? Today we are talking about wood chippers. More specifically, this is my Echo SC-3013 chipper shredder. Now, this is a review. I've owned this wood chipper for 4 years now. I've paid for it, and this is not a paid review. So this is my own opinion of what I don't like about this wood chipper and what I do like. And so more specifically, what I want to tell you is this a good buy? Because 4 years ago, I didn't know. There was no reviews. And so that's what this review is actually about, to help you buy a wood chipper that does the job. Okay, so real short walk around. This comes with the Briggs & Stratton motor. Pretty simple, basic small engine stuff. This is your chute. You've got your screen in here that you can change the size of that out if you want finer shredded materials or coarser grinds. And then I have paid for the, what do they call that attachment? It's like a tow bar with the wheels. That's so I can tow it around the property with my riding lawnmower. And then of course you've got your, I guess that's the chipping chute and then the shredding chute. Anyways, pretty brief walk around, right? So do I like this wood chipper? Yeah, I do. It's done the job quite well. Could it be better? Yeah, it could be a lot better. So let's start with the things I do like first. Is of course, let's go back in time a little bit. So when I bought this wood chipper, there was a big ice storm that happened here, and I ended up with about 40 yards worth of branches that were sitting right here where my shop is. Calling around for rental yards, they told me it'd be about 6 months before I could get a wood chipper on site to take care of that. And so I took the other route and bought one instead. Did it get the job done? It did. 40 yards is a lot of branches. I spent weeks doing it. I just do about 2 hours at a time. I think on average, I probably run about 3 yards an hour hand chipping with this machine. So not exactly stellar speed compared to a professional chipper, but remember this is designed for around the home. And so for around the home, it does the job great. It'll chip whatever you've got. And in that specific ice storm, it was all hardwoods. I had beech, I had maple, I had birches, a lot of birch trees around here as well that came down. So, plum was a big one. A lot of plum trees as well. So yeah, it chips hardwoods really well. Softwoods, of course, are easy peasy. So yeah, it does the job great, but don't expect it to be quick. Comparable to, I once borrowed a chipper a long time ago. It was a tiny, probably a $200 model. I don't know the brand or anything, but the thing was terrible. Barely ran. If you could even get it to chip at all, you were lucky. Those weren't worth the effort. So my opinion is a lot of the $500 chippers, not the best buy. This thing retailed for about $2,000 when I bought it. I believe it is about $2,700 now, so it's kind of expensive. But what I have found is that it doesn't matter what model you buy, these chutes are all the same size. With this being the mid-range model, I can't see why you'd want to go anymore unless you could buy a bigger chute to process bigger materials, because this 3 inches is kind of their limit. There's probably some kind of government safety standard as to why they can't go bigger. That's been my only limitation, is that because of the chute and the angle of it, you have to really process your materials. And so for instance, over here I've collected some branches that I just pruned a tree today just for this very purpose. So this is some very old dead cherry tree wood. So for example, here you've got this branch here. Given that it's all branchy still, I'll have to limb that up and make it easy to process. As for this is a branch that I've already processed to make it nice and easy to put in the chute, because if I try to shove the branchy thing in there, everything gets caught in there and it just ends up being a bad idea. So anyways, that's what I don't like. I wish they could make the chute just a little bit wider so that it wouldn't have as much problems getting things to fit. The debris chute works pretty well. I do find oftentimes I will find things get hung up right here. You're shoving really branchy materials in here, and you can think that they're in there and they're not. Obviously don't shove your fingers in there, right? But I end up having to use a push stick, just a tree branch that I don't care about, and I can shove stuff in there with that. But because it gets clogged up so much, that's the problem. This is not a problem, but it's an issue. As you'll see here, I have to prop this chute up, whatever you call this hatch thing, with a log, board, whatever you use, because what happens if you take it out is it will sit so low that your pile, you could probably run one branch for this is piled up with wood chips, and then you got to shovel it out constantly. So even with a log holding it up like that, I think about every 2 minutes I have to take the pitchfork, clear out the debris so that the chute can keep processing chips. Not a big deal, but it's just kind of why this is work. So it takes quite a bit of effort and sweat just to process the chips, but you get free mulch. These chips, I think I made these about a month ago. They're actually from this cypress tree right above me here. I probably should have used these for the actual video because they were nice and straight and easy, but I wanted to pick something that was a little more difficult, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, they've had time to break down and process, and they're not bad chips. Let me get some light for you. Yeah, a lot of organics in there with all the conifer needles and all that, but the wood chips and stuff, they'll be great when they break down. Anyways, so it makes great chips if that's what you're after. But like I said, it is work. It does get the job done. I think there was I can't remember the CCs on the engine sizes, but there's the 2000, the 3000, the 4000 model. And I said the 3000 is what I got. That's mid-range. It's always in the job. It bogs down a little bit when something gets really close to the 3-inch diameter limit. But beyond that, I've had no issues, and therefore see no reason to get the bigger model. I don't think I'd go smaller. The 2000 model is probably a little wimpy. Anyways, only other complaint I have beyond those has been the engine. I absolutely dislike this engine. It's so cold-blooded. I mean, yeah, you want to turn the fuel line off every time you shut it down for an extended period of time, so that the carburetor can drain out. I find that if you don't do that, it's going to take forever to start the next time. Also, don't leave it in the rain. That makes it not want to run as well. But typically, I have to start this thing probably a dozen times before it will run hot enough to keep running. It sounds like more work than that is, but it's still more work than I would want to do. It doesn't just always fire up and just run. It can be kind of stubborn. I've got to know it a little bit better, and that makes it easier if you follow my advice and drain the carb and keep it out of the rain. You can probably get it started within 5 tries. Besides that, the only problems I can remember, I mean, the belt did go out, I think a year ago randomly. That was a real easy fix down at Napa Auto Parts. So you're going to want to know your belt measurements, the length, and then, of course, the groove types for that. But it's just kind of a stock fan belt in a place like that. And then I think I've had the screen occasionally does get clogged. And this is real simple to fix. I know the lighting's not good here. I'm parked the wrong way in the sun, but you'll find under this pile of debris that I've left in here, which is a terrible idea, right about where my finger is, there is a bolt there. The nut is actually underneath it right there. So it's one bolt, 13 millimeters, I think. Don't quote me on that. Just one bolt. You pull that one out. You can clean the screen out that way. That's what happens when it gets clogged and shuts down. But yeah, other than that, it's a great wood chipper. Let's see how it chips this right now and see if it still works, because I have some video footage I'm going to show you right now when I first bought the machine and how it was processing those 40 yards of materials. And then I also have some footage we're going to make now. We're going to chip this tree that I just cut down and see if it still does the job 4 years later. 4 years later, my bad. Okay, well, without further ado, let's see how many tries it takes me to start this machine. It is cold. I think it was in the rain last time I had it. With any luck, it'll start up in 2 tries, right? My fault, it was actually turned off. It doesn't really like to run when it's off. That's what it does right there. You see how it kind of ran and then stopped? And you'll start it again. So I'll turn the choke back on. Then you hear a little pop, and it starts to idle a little better usually. Now I wonder if it has any fuel in it. This might be embarrassing. Anyways, all right, back to where I was. Choke on. All right, I'm gonna check for fuel. It's got fuel. It So yeah, just a typical example of what it likes to do is it gets so cold-blooded that it doesn't really like to run. That's my biggest complaint, and that's not the wood chipper, that's the engine that's attached to it. Perhaps they don't use Briggs & Stratton motors anymore. Do your own research. Okay, choke back on. That's 3 times now. Throttle. That was I tried to throttle it up. Sometimes it requires that. Now what? So like I said, the wood chipper works great. The Briggs & Stratton motor, that's terrible. Perhaps there's a better motor out there for you. I don't really know. I'm not a small engine guy. But hey, it's running now, isn't it? Okay, well, as you can see, it pretty much took care of that first branch that we prepared. It's all gone now. I don't know when this fell over in the video. I'm sure you saw it. But now you can see how it kind of clogs up if you don't have a little prop holding up the chute. So we'll put that back. Anyways, so yeah, does the job pretty well. Remember, that's been 4 years of using it, probably 100 hours of use. I've never sharpened the blades or really done any maintenance on this at all. I really should do an oil change about now. But yeah, it does the job for what it is. I wouldn't say it's the best wood chipper you'll ever find, but for the price range and if you just need it around the house, it's a good buy. 4 out of 5, is that a good thing? I think it's about right. Just wish the engine was a little bit better, but that might just be user error. I'm not sure.